All right, man. So the Kyrie trade has officially happened. First of all, I want to say, Kevin Durant, my brother, my PG County brother, you officially made the worst move in NBA history 4 years ago. Now, I'm going to definitely touch on that a little bit later in this video, but if you live under a rock, Kyrie has officially been traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round pick, and multiple second-round picks. Now, how do I feel about the move for Dallas? Basketball-wise, I love it. Like long-term, basketball-wise, I love it if they can get there long-term. But it is a very, and I mean extremely risky move, but it's a move they absolutely had to make. Look, man, Mark Cuban, similar to the Cavs in 03, you struck gold in that 18 draft. Like, Luka literally landed in your lap. One of the most sensational generational players early, 23 years old, and he's already like top 2, top 3, top 1, if you want to say, and he's in your lap, in your possession. And what do you have surrounding him? Some of the worst contracts in the sport. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. He's been very solid for him this season, but it hasn't quite been enough. Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, Davis Bertans, like, he's not even relevant anymore. They have all these bad contracts, and they let Jalen Brunson walk. And what you don't want to do with a generational talent like Luka is LeBron him. And what do I mean by LeBron him? Waste year after year after year of his prime-like youth. You don't want to waste those years. Last year, you make the Western Conference Finals and you lose Jalen Brunson for nothing, and he goes to New York and becomes like a phenom out there. And that makes you look even worse than Cleveland because you had help and lost it. Now, why do I like the move basketball-wise? Luka Doncic, as any basketball head, anybody that talks about basketball has mentioned, he has one of the highest usage rates in the league. I've talked about in my everything the 2023 NBA season has proved so far, the Mavericks are dead last in 2-point attempts. They're dead last. They've ultimately concluded that their best, most efficient offense is letting Luka boogie and do whatever he wants to do offensively and spotting everybody else up on the wings. And we know that peaks. Kyrie Irving, I feel like I'm stating the obvious because we already know, how does he help? Kyrie's one of the best pure bucket getters in the league. Like, give him the ball, doesn't need a bunch of play designs, doesn't need a bunch of screens, doesn't need a bunch of help. Give him the ball and let him create art. Like, that's what Kyrie does. He can get his bucket anywhere on the court, 3-level score. That's what he does. Also, he's played beside a LeBron, who was basically the point in Cleveland. James Harden, who was the point in Brooklyn. He knows how to adjust his game and essentially turn himself into a 2. We all seen how Kyrie plays, but you know I got to add this in there just to prove statistically how creative he actually is at getting his own bucket. For the last 7 to 8 years, he's top 10 in field goals made. And if you look at that top 10 list, he's dead last in free throws. He doesn't need a bunch of help. Now we get to see how creative Jason Kidd can be playing Luka Doncic more off ball and how he evolves. I'm assuming having a lot more spacing with a player like Kyrie, who's going to provide him that luxury. Now to the stuff that I don't like about this trade, because let's be real, it's not a perfect trade for Dallas. It's just not. Kyrie is on the last year of an expiring contract, and really it's only like 30 games left plus the playoffs. Assuming they make it, they'll make it with Kyrie. I'm assuming they're going to make it, but he's on the last year of that deal. Now, Chris Haynes is reporting that Kyrie is ecstatic to play with Dallas. He's ecstatic to play with Luka Doncic and all that, but we've heard that before with Kyrie. This is a man that left 3 good situations. Like, he left LeBron, who he made 3 consecutive finals with. He left Boston, who a team that on paper, it looked amazing. He left Brooklyn and basically blew up a big 3 that looked like the craziest, most 2K big 3 of all time. I can't trust Kyrie Irving. I don't know. Like, say him and Luka just doesn't work out and it's like a Rondo Dallas situation where it just blows up quick. I don't know if he will say, well, Dallas wasn't really my first choice anyway. Like, Boston wasn't his first choice in 2017 and he left. And he says, well, LA, they have all that open cap space because Russ is gone. That's where I really wanted to go in the first place and play with LeBron and AD. Let me go back there. Let me go play with LeBron because I really didn't want to be in Dallas. And now Dallas is just fucked. You can't trust Kyrie, so we just don't know. That's the first thing that I don't really like about this move. Also, defensively, remember last year against Phoenix, that second round matchup in which they won in 7 games. But in those first 2 to 3 games, Chris Paul and Devin Booker took turns abusing Luka, switching on him every chance they got in those first few games, and it hurt him. And to Jason Kidd's credit, he made the adjustments, made significant tweaks defensively, and hit him, and it helped. Well, now you have 2 liabilities defensively in your backcourt. If this is a long-term thing, which obviously they're hoping this is, you're still going to have to do some work with that roster and get off of some of those bad contracts and get more versatile players, preferably players that can guard multiple positions and stretch the floor for Luka and Kyrie. They still have work to do. Now for Brooklyn, and I'll be brief. They won. And I'm not talking about they won the trade. I'm talking about they won the Kyrie era because it finally ended. The most cancerous player they probably had in their organizational history is gone. Those 4 years were arguably the worst 4 years on a big contract that I've ever seen. Like the first year Kyrie Irving gets hurt. The second year he's unprofessional and he's gone and he gets hurt against Milwaukee. The third year he doesn't get the vaccine and James Harden ultimately leaves and now you're stuck with Ben fucking Simmons. The fourth year he has the anti-Semitic film stuff and brought all this national attention to your franchise, your city, and then he demands a trade. Like all this stuff is officially over. So it's over. Obviously, you're not going to be able to maximize KD's window and you're going to have to trade him because that's up next. And I might as well get to Kevin Durant now that I mentioned his name. Brooklyn, at least you were able to wash your hands with Kyrie and get something for Kevin Durant. Bro, oh my God, man, I feel so sorry for you, man. You trusted the biggest diva in my lifetime with your career, and unfortunately, it bit you in the ass like it did. You lost James Harden because of this dude. And James Harden is having one of his better, more efficient winning seasons of his career. And now his trade request is looking even better and more smart. And you're stuck with Ben Simmons, who's basically a glorified role player public figure. Like he's irrelevant at this point. You left that dynasty out Golden State, and I understand why. I mean, Stephen Curry, the storylines, the narratives, Draymond Green, all that stuff ate his ass alive, and he had to prove I can win without this franchise. We understand why he left, but you left it for the most unreliable star in my personal lifetime, and now you're paying for it. In almost 50 playoff games with Golden State, he only lost 10 of them. Kevin Durant is famously, I feel like the tag that we associate with Kevin Durant, the quote that we associate with Kevin Durant is all I want to do is hoop. I just want to hoop. I want to hoop and go home. Even in his Twitter bio, I chill, I do me, and I go home. That's what Kevin Durant is. That's exactly what Golden State provided you. Even OKC with Russell Westbrook, he gave you that stability. Kyrie, the Brooklyn Nets, Ben Simmons, they've given you nothing of that. And lastly, and we just have to touch on this because obviously it's relevant, the Lakers. I don't know exactly what Rob and Jeannie Buss, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but let's be honest, with Kyrie and how sporadic he is and how unpredictable he is, it's not over. To some extent, I understand why you wouldn't want to put yourself back into contractual hell right after coming off of that with Russell Westbrook's contract. Now you have to give Kyrie a contract, which is a whole nother level of stress. I understand that. But at the same time, like I said, once you get LeBron James and once you extend him like they did, you sell your soul to his legacy. Once you extended him, once you've accepted him, you have to make erratic moves. You have to make what looks to be illogical moves, impulsive moves. Like that's what comes with LeBron. This year, the West is wide open. And to me, you just kind of missed that opportunity. If they would have got Kyrie this year with how LeBron has been playing, Kyrie, AD individually, and with how the West has looked, how wide open it is, automatically Western Conference favorite, automatically. Now, at least this year, that window is closed. But like I said, Kyrie is very unpredictable. I still believe it's a good chance, a great chance that he can go to LA this summer. I still believe that. If you guys like this video, in conclusion, for Dallas, I feel like it's a very high risk, possibly high reward move. For Brooklyn, you had to wash your hands with Kyrie. He's just way too cancerous for that franchise. For LA, you missed this opportunity, but possibly you can get him next year, so who knows? Tell me in the comments what you think about this move. To me, it's great for the NBA. At least we have something going. And man, the West, the NBA is so wide open. I love it. Follow my social media sites, turn on post notifications, do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.